So we're at the nitty-gritty this afternoon. We have 3 presentations at the different levels, European, national and local, about the instruments or products that can be used to provide either support for R&D or support for collaboration to help get ideas into creating values and the creating value. And our first talk is from Ramba Mad from the RDA, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, yes. Who's a business innovation advisor. You're looking at me as if I have something wrong.
No, it's all good.
Thanks for the introduction. I'm Ramba Mad from the South West Regional Development Agency. We've all had a great and good networking session. I'll kick off this afternoon's session to give you insight into the Grant for R&D scheme, which
I'm going to interrupt you. So in the afternoon sessions, rather than have a question session at the end of each presentation, we'll have the 3 presentations and then have a little round table at the end where you can ask your questions of the 3 speakers. That's all right.
Yeah, and I'll be at the design festival afterwards, so any queries you want to do on a one-to-one basis, feel free to catch me at the end. Okay, overview. I'll give you some background on what the scheme is, the types of projects it supports, what we look for in applications. So I'll give you some pointers of how to put a good application together. I'll give you some take-up to date of how likelihood it is to get a grant. Give you some contact information to get the documentation for the scheme, and also some any latest breaking news that we have about the scheme that we'll sort of air at this event. Okay, the Grant for Research and Development used to be called a Smart Award, and I've called it an ex-DTI scheme because it was DS before, and now, as you know this morning, it's called PT1 Biz. So I've changed the slide back to DTI because everyone does recognise that it's still a good brand. It was transferred to the RDA in 2005, and we've delivered it in the region since then. And you've probably all heard of the Business Support Simplification Programme, and I'm pleased to say that the scheme has survived all the chops, and it's one of the 30 support products that is now on offer as a growing your business product. It offers grant support to SMEs, and the definition of SMEs that we use for this type of funding is a European definition, where the ceiling of number of employees is 250. I just want to clarify that because I know this morning there was debates about 500 and 250. The HMRC use 500, but we have to use a European definition, which is 250. But in the guidelines, there's a link on what type of SME can qualify. Idea must carry risks and technical risk and challenge, which we like to see within an application. And key to it is you have to have match funding. So our grant has to have a match from the company. The funding and innovation support picture in the Southwest can look fairly complicated, but what we try to do here is to sort of split it into 2 sort of circles really. On the left you've got typical angel investors who will put into a company, but that's quite far down the route of taking the product to market, and they will buy equity in your company. And on the right hand circle you've got some programs that we'll hear about today, some sort of out in the foyer, which are traditional innovation support networks and programs. We sort of put Grant for R&D in the middle because it doesn't take an equity in your company. There's no collaboration needed. There's no theme calls, so it's open to business to everyone. So it's a halfway house between the sort of 2 innovation and finance support platforms that are out there. Why Grant for R&D? Well, as it's summarised in those 3 bullet points there, innovative R&D is key to grow the productivity within the region and increase regional wealth. Because of the nature of the scheme, it encourages investment that wouldn't normally occur because of the risk associated with a project. And that's even probably a lot more stronger now in the current times, as it has been, in more happy financial times. And again, it sort of helps share that risk and financial risk and technical risk with the company to give their idea credibility. Types of companies supported, well, there's no such thing really. I mean, you had a good talk this morning from Simon, who was a typical startup, but we have companies totally at the opposite end of the scale, mature companies who are at the top end of the SME scale, who just simply want to change their business model, diversify into a new area. They just need a bit of funding to sort of take that idea forward. So there's no real typical applicant. We couldn't really pin down a typical stereotype of a typical grant for R&D applicant. It's open to everyone anyone's got a business that fits into the SME category. Products on offer. whiz through these. There's, I think there's 5 different grants on offer. The next few slides will just run through the details of those. The first one, this was launched 1st of April this year. There was, with the applications that we were getting, there was sometimes a brilliant idea, not a technical risk, but there wasn't really a route to market. They said we could sell it, but we don't know what the market is, and that would sometimes get turned down on that basis. Because so this is recognised as a weakness of public funding. So a proof of market grant has been launched on 1st of April. We've only had to take one application as such, but it allows an individual to scope out a technology and sort out some of the key commercial pointers that we look for. Market size, barriers to entry, who the competitors are, what IP routes could they take, what are the pricing points. No point inventing on them if it's not going to meet the minimum price target the market will pay, for example. And you can get a grant from between £5,000 and £20,000, which can account for 60% of the project costs. And for a small company, could bring an independent consultant or marketing company to do that survey for them, and make a case which would then allow them with confidence to apply for a bigger grant for the research or development programme that they want to undertake. Again, minimum grant is 5 and it's about less than 9 months duration. The new scheme for us, when they do come in, we'll be sort of testing the water on what the boundaries of the kind of stuff that we can fund.